Inside Lacrosse and ILWomen here at historic Homewood Field, where Boston College just beat Johns Hopkins 9-5. I'm Zach Babos, this is Ashley McCulloch. Ashley, I got here at about halftime. It was a 4-5 game when I got here. Second half was all Boston College. Can you tell me a little bit about what you saw kind of transpire from the first half to the second half that seemed to really just change the course of this game so much?
Yeah, it seemed like Boston College, was really starting to win some of the draws and settle down and really get some good offensive possessions. On the other side, Hopkins was really making some turnovers that were costing them. Boston College was capitalizing on that, and just overall just not playing as clean as they were in that first half.
There's obviously it's a very talented Boston College squad ranked in the top 10. Couple of players that really jump off the roster. You probably start with somebody like Kobe Stanwick, but how much that kind of influences going down the stretch of some of that Boston College star power just starting to really affect the game and take over?
Yeah, with talking with Janine Tucker, I mean, one of their main focuses was trying to cut down on those big guns for Boston College. So you had Manley was getting face guarded at some points. Kobe Stanwick was not allowing the ball behind. They were denying her the ball. So I think really those other secondary players for BC really stepped up. Caroline Margolis had 4 goals for BC, which was huge for them. So.
Hi, I'm Cannizzaro here in Atlanta with Inside Lacrosse. Just finished the game against Northwestern versus Virginia. It was a quick start for Virginia. They got out to a 2-0 lead, but Northwestern fought back. Northwestern has been gritty these past 2 games, winning both last week's game in overtime and this week's game by 1 on a free position shot. So I think we learned a strong lesson today that the draw is very important. Both teams were able to capitalize once they had possession. So the draw was obviously a very important part of this game. Another part that we learned was that Northwestern is really effective on defense inside with their checks. So I think Virginia learned that they had to protect their sticks, and that's when they started to finish more in the second half and came back. Northwestern was effective on offense on dodging from low and feeding inside, so they're going to be a dynamic offense with Kara Mubo dodging on the outside and having other players being able to finish inside.
Back in the IL Newsroom, I'm Terry Foy here with ILWomen's Ashley McCulloch. And Ashley, you were at the number 7 Boston College Eagles season opening 9-5 win over the number 17 Johns Hopkins Blue Jays. And it was an interesting game coming in terms of Hopkins having a game under their belt, this being the debut for the Eagles. What were your takeaways, particularly from Boston College's offensive effort and their ability to put goals on the board?
Yeah, I think coming into the game, that was one of the big questions that, Hopkins holds teams to 7 goals. They average 7 goals a game, so they have a really stingy defense, and Boston College is known with their attackers. So that was definitely a big thing going into the game, and I thought Hopkins did a really good job of really keying on some of the big guns for Boston College, such as Michaela Ricks and Kobe Stanwick, Sarah Manley. So they definitely did a good job on trying to shut those girls down, but I thought BC did a really good job of moving the ball and having some other of their secondary players really step up.
And now, BC in the ACC obviously has a tough slate, but they've got, a few winnable games over the course of the next couple weeks. UMass Lowell, Vermont, Holy Cross before they have to get ready for Syracuse. On the flip side, Johns Hopkins has to come back from this loss. What are you looking for from these 2 teams going forward?
Yeah, I think BC, that was a great season opener. I think Acacia Walker mentioned that they've been practicing inside with the weather up in Boston. So really to get on the field, get that first game under their belt was big, and I think it showed that the first half they were, a little rusty, and then really picked it up in that second half. So I think, going in, getting some more games under their belt, and then getting into the ACC slate will be good for them. As far as Hopkins, I think after their first game where they won in double overtime against Marquette, you didn't really know what that meant. I think this game showed that they can hang with some of the top teams. They definitely need to get some offensive firepower going. Being held scoreless in the second half and only scoring 5 goals is definitely a thing that they need to pick up if they're going to beat some of the top teams.
Well, that's going to bring to a close a crazy first or second weekend, depending on who you are, week of ILWomen action. We appreciate you checking out ILWomen.com and enjoy the content throughout the rest of the week.